One of the very important philosophical discussions about resurrection is a discussion called in Arabic إعادة المعدوم. What does إعادة mean?
Return.
To return, bring back something. And what does معدوم mean? معدوم from عدم. Adam means non-existence, annihilation. Ma'doom, that which ceased to exist, or that which is non-existent. So the discussion about resurrection is it possible, logically, to bring back something non-existent to life or no? So this is a very important discussion that theologians and philosophers have discussed. It seems that philosophers were the ones who brought forth this argument. Many philosophers believe that it is a logical impossibility to bring back something from non-existence. Something gets annihilated, and then you bring that same thing back to life. It's not possible. The famous scholar As-Sabzawari, basically he is a philosopher and a logician. He has a manzuma in Arabic. It's a poem that he has authored capturing his philosophy. He says the following: إعادة المعدوم مما امتنع, to bring back something to life that was non-existent, that is impossible. وَبَعْضُهُمْ فِيهِ الضَّرُورَةَ ادَّعَى. In fact, some philosophers have said that this logical impossibility is so evident, self-evident, that no one should even doubt it, that it is impossible. So here's the objection. Let's expand on it. When we say God will resurrect us on the day of judgment, that means He brings back the dead to life. When the trumpet is blown into, everything dies. The second time when it's blown into, everything is brought back to life. Philosophers have said there's a logical impossibility here. When something is annihilated, it exists, and then when the trumpet is blown into, it no longer exists. It gets annihilated. It's completely gone. It's no longer existing. So there is nothing to bring back to life. When this thing got annihilated, you don't have anything. So what are you bringing back to life? There is nothing. Now look at this logical reasoning here. If you say it is something, right? That Zayd who got annihilated, yeah, sure, he's not existing now. Assalamu alaikum. He's not existing now, but he's still something, right? If you say that Zayd is still something, then he really didn't get annihilated. He still somehow exists. But if you say no, he completely got annihilated, then there is nothing to bring back to life. Whatever is resurrected, therefore, is a new creation, not the same one. When Zayd dies and he completely doesn't exist, that's it. He's exterminated from existence. He's annihilated from existence, right? If God brings Zayd back to life, technically it's impossible. Whatever God's going to bring back to life is a new creation that looks like Zayd, or operates like Zayd, and functions like Zayd. But Zayd is gone. There is nothing to bring back to life. When something exists, you can bring it back. But when it doesn't exist, that's it, it's gone. It's erased from existence. So what are you going to bring back? It's not possible. So this is the logical impossibility that philosophers have claimed, not theologians, philosophers. What are some thoughts on this logical impossibility? What do you think about it?
How did that thing come to existence to begin with?
Okay, so there was nothing. Allah created Zayd. No problem. Allah, through His infinite power, He creates from nothing. Now this Zayd got annihilated. So he's gone. So whatever He is going to give life to, philosophers say, is a new creation. It's a new Zayd, not the same Zayd, because that Zayd is gone. And when something is gone, it doesn't exist. So what are you bringing back to life? There's nothing to bring back to life.
But why can't God, the one who created him, bring him back?
Because he ceased to exist. So there is nothing now in existence. So anything out of that nothingness you're going to bring, it's a new creation. It's not the same.
Zayd 2.0.
Exactly, Zayd 2.0. Zayd 1.0, that's it. He's destroyed, he's gone. He's no longer existing. He doesn't have the capacity to exist anymore. That same Zayd. Yeah, you can create something identical to that Zayd, but not that same Zayd. That's their argument. See, their argument is if you have an existing being, if you have a being, if in between there is a gap of non-existence, technically that can't be the same being because that continuity was broken through non-existence, so it can't be the same being. It must be something else that looks like it, but it's not the same being. Yeah, Allah can create a Zayd who will still have the same memory, but that Zayd thinks he existed before. God makes him so. But that same Zayd, that's it, he's gone. See, their argument is once you eliminate something from existence, that thing is gone, that's it for good. It doesn't have the capacity to come anymore. Not that God can't. Allah's powers are unlimited. But that thing, that's it. It doesn't have the capacity to come back to life because it doesn't exist anymore. What's going to come back to life? Nothing? When there's nothing, there's nothing. Has no characters, no features, it's nothing. It's absolute annihilation, non-existence. So what is it going to come? What is it that's going to come back to life? That's the argument. Do you see what these philosophers are trying to say?
Sayyid, is this argument made to say that you cannot punish this in new Zayd because the old Zayd...
That's another moral dilemma. But now we're just looking at the logical impossibility. Right? Assuming that we go with this discussion, then the question is, okay, if it's a new creation, why is this new creation going to get punished for something somebody else did? Technically. Right, but that's a moral dilemma. Let's try to address this logical dilemma here.
But they're okay with, let's say there's a gap in awareness. Is the same person because he wasn't annihilated? So for example, you fall asleep and then the next day...
See, when you fall in sleep, there's a lack of conscious awareness. But that being still exists from other dimensions. Whereas the argument here is that when the trumpet is blown into, that's it. Gone, eliminated. The soul, the person, whatever remains of him is eliminated from existence. It's wiped out from existence.
So we're hinged on that word annihilated.
Exactly, full annihilation. Their argument is if there's full annihilation, how do you bring it back to life? There's nothing to come back to life. That's the argument. Okay, so how do we address then this logical dilemma that these philosophers have created for us? That it's a logical impossibility for something to be annihilated, then resurrected. If it's gone, complete annihilation, there's nothing to resurrect. Anything you're going to give life to is going to be a new creation, not the same body. One answer scholars have given is that the body dies, it decomposes, disintegrates, but the soul doesn't die. It continues existing. It's the body that dies. Even the body does not get annihilated. When people die, and even if they decompose and become part of the earth, does their body completely get annihilated? No. And science has told us matter is neither created or destroyed. They're not gone. Then what happens to the body? It just decomposes to elements. And then during resurrection, Allah gathers all those elements. Nothing's getting annihilated here. What's getting annihilated? The soul doesn't die in the barzakh. It can be put to sleep, like you said, maybe conscious awareness, but it doesn't die, it's existing. As the body, the elements are still there. I'll give you an example. If you take this cup right now in its current form and you burn it, it becomes into ashes. Did it get annihilated scientifically? No. It just changed its form from one form to another form. And scientifically, logically, you can bring it back from those ashes. Yeah, maybe we don't have the science to do it, but it's possible. Because it just changed its state. So nothing's getting annihilated here. So Allah is bringing back that same body which disintegrated and the same soul. So where's the logical problem here with resurrection? It's like breaking down a car. Have you seen some people who have a hobby of breaking down a car into its finest elements and parts and then constructing it again? When you break down a car, did the car get annihilated? No, the structure changed. That's all. If you know how, you can bring back the same structure. Nothing's really getting annihilated here. So God fully resurrects the same body.
Sayyid, the same body, but how? Like, for example, if somebody dies like at 20 years old or 50, or you'll be resurrected the age you were, the same body, how it was buried?
Yes, it appears from the narrations that however you died, you will be resurrected on Qiyamah. Then when you enter paradise, everyone becomes 18 years old. Or meaning you look like an 18-year-old person. Yeah, you look youthful. But before that, yeah, you will be resurrected exactly the same way that you died.
So say Alzheimer's. So same condition.
So the same body will be resurrected, but their mental state will be in full awareness, yes. Because we believe that these mental disorders, or even mental illnesses, or even insanity, retardation, it's not the soul that has a defect. It's the brain, which is the connection between the soul and the body. That link gets weakened. Otherwise, the soul is fully aware. On the Day of Judgment, this person will have full awareness. And we gave the example of glasses. Your eyes see perfectly well. If you wear glasses and the glasses are dirty, your vision is blurred, right? Now you can't see properly. Why can't you see properly? Is there a problem with your eyes? No. Where's the problem? That medium, that tool which is allowing you to see, has a defect. The brain is a medium between the body and the soul. The soul is intact. When you see someone, that's why the hadith, Islam tells us, don't make fun of insane people. They have a soul, they have dignity. Okay. Now, there's one small objection some philosophers have even tried to give here. They're like, look, okay, we know it's the same body being resurrected, okay, nothing got annihilated. But in order for you to keep the body as the same body from all dimensions, the time is also a factor. This body on January 20th is not the same body on January 21, because January 20th has its unique time, those minutes and seconds. The next day is a new day. Sure, physically the body looks the same, but the time factor has changed. So when the person died, then God resurrects that same body. You can't say technically it's that same body, because the body that died years ago. And now when you resurrect it, there's a new time. So something changed about the body, which is the time factor. You see the point being made here? Okay. The answer to that, so what? Let the time factor change. Why is that even necessary to keep the same time factor? And the example is your living body today. Today, technically, you're not the same person as yesterday, because yesterday your body was a body that was in a different time.
But you're the same person.
Today, it's a different time, but you're still the same person. So what? So let them make this objection. It doesn't change anything. Why do we need to bring back the same body with the time factor? That's not necessary. You're still the same person, even if time goes by. That singularity is still there. What's that?
Nothing's like added or removed.
Yeah, nothing. Only the time factor. Well, let the time factor change. That's okay. That's fine. There's an interesting hadith here. This hadith is attributed to al-Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Ibn Abi al-Awja, who was the famous atheist, he objected to verse 56 of Surah An-Nisa. Allah is talking about the people of hell. Allah says, كُلَّمَا نَضِجَتْ جُلُودُهُمْ بَدَّلْنَاهُمْ جُلُودًا غَيْرَهَا لِيَذُوقُوا الْعَذَابِ. Allah says, every time their skin gets consumed in the flames, we give them new skin so they feel the pain of hell. Because see, the nerves that we have, the pain nerves are in the skin, right? Also in the flesh, but primarily in the skin. When it burns, someone could say, okay, I'm going to burn in hell and be ashes and it's all over. Who cares? The Quran says, no, no, no. Every time your body burns, you'll grow new skin and you'll get burned. So it's not worth it. Don't drag yourself to hell. So Ibn Abi al-Awja, he asked Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he told him, مَا ذنب الغير? It's the old worldly skin that committed the sin. That first layer of skin gets burned. The Quran says a new layer of skin is going to grow. Ibn Abi al-Awja, the atheist, he tells him, what's the sin of this new skin? This new skin never committed the sin. So he's like basically doubting the justice of God. مَا ذنب الغير? The new skin that's going to, why is that getting burned? It never committed the sin. You see his point? Yeah. Okay. فأجابه الإمام. The Imam عليه السلام said, هي وهي غيرها. It's the same skin, but it's also a different skin. Ibn Abi al-Awja says, look, I don't understand what do you mean. Give me an example, like a worldly example that we're familiar with. The Imam عليه السلام gave him a beautiful example. The Imam says, don't you see that someone can take a brick, he breaks that brick, and then he puts it together again. Let's say you break a brick that's made of clay into pieces. And then you gather those pieces, you put water on them, they become soft, you make a new brick. This new brick, is it the same brick or a new brick? It's the same and it's a new brick. It's the same because what? You didn't add anything. You broke it and then you pieced it together. Or have you seen dough? If you have some dough, an amount of dough or slime these days, kids are obsessed with slime. If you have slime and then you break it apart, like you tear its pieces, you put it into 20 pieces, and then you put them back together. Is it the same slime? It's the same slime, but technically, is it the same slime? No. Because you broke it apart, you put it back together, some factors changed, but it's the same thing. So the Imam gave him, that answer that, okay, it's the same skin that regrows. Yes, technically you could call it a new skin, but it's the same skin. Just like the brick example. So Ibn Abi al-Awja, he was dumbfounded. He didn't know how to answer this objection. Yes.
The skin is being punished, or God is using the skin to punish the soul itself?
The skin is a tool to punish the soul only.
Yes. So
but see, he's being technical. He's like, Allah's so just, even the tool should not experience any punishment if it was not involved in the sin. So the Imam is just answering him. But you make a valid point. The skin is just a tool. So what? The point is the soul is getting punished. Let's say there's new skin. Big deal. So yes, technically there are some changes, but the point is that it's still the same person, same body.
I have another question. Why it's called the وَقَهَرَ رَبُّنَا عِبَادَهُ بِالْفَنَاءِ when there's eternal punishment in hell? It's not fana, it's eternal punishment.
Fana is worldly fana. That every soul must die, must taste death in this world. No one's living here forever. Yes, there's eternity in the akhirah. But for those who think this materialistic life is eternal, no. Allah will force death upon everyone. That's the idea behind it. Otherwise, the hadith states خُلِقْتُمْ لِلْبَقَاءِ لَا لِلْفَنَاءِ. You've been created for eternity, to stay, not to be exterminated. And by the way, this idea of the body being the same, but also a little bit different, so maybe like it. It seems Surah Yasin verse 81 makes a reference to this. When Allah states, أَوَلَيْسَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, isn't He who created the heavens and the earth, بِقَادِرٍ عَلَىٰ أَن يَخْلُقَ مِثْلَهُم, isn't He able to create like them on the Day of Judgment? So if any philosopher says, well, technically you've got the time factor, it's not the same body, Allah says, okay, like it, fine. But it's pretty much the same. Here's another hadith, by the way, that explains how bodies will be resurrected after disintegrating, which proves that nothing gets annihilated. So this hadith is from Hisham ibn al-Hakam. He captures a conversation between an atheist that occurred with Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Then the Imam alayhi salam says, he says to the Imam, أَنَّا لِلْرُوحِ الْبَعْثِ وَالْبَدَنُ قَدْ بَلِيَ وَالْأَعْضَاءُ تَفَرَّقَتْ. How is God going to resurrect you when the body is long gone and the organs have disintegrated? فَعُضْوٌ فِي بَلْدَةٍ تَأْكُلُهَا سِبَاعُهَا. There's one organ in one city, in one part of the earth. The wild animals are scavenging on it and eating it. وَعُضْوٌ بِأُخْرَى تُمَزِّقُهُ هَوَامُهَا. And there is another body part somewhere else, the rodents or the insects of the earth are eating it. And one body part becomes dust. And then after it becomes dust, somebody makes clay out of it. And then it becomes a building. Or a wall, as this atheist says. How is God going to resurrect this? The Imam alayhi salam states, the one who created him from nothing to begin with can, through his knowledge and power, gather all those disintegrated parts. He says, explain that to me. The Imam alayhi salam states, إِنَّ الرُّوحَ مُقِيمَةٌ فِي مَكَانِهَا. See, the soul is there. It's intact. As for the believers, their soul will be in a place of light, and the unbelievers, their soul will be in a place of darkness. As for the body, yes, it does disintegrate. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows exactly where did it go to when this body part became dust and the dust went around. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows exactly where it is. And then the Imam gives a beautiful analogy. He says, on the Day of Judgment, have you seen people who work in mining precious metals, or people who have that sift? What do you call it when you want to, for instance, you have wheat, or you have something, there's things mixed with it. Have you seen those village ladies? Yeah, what do you call it in English? It has like a net. Basically, you shuffle it, you move it, and
Like a strainer?
strainer. Yeah, like a strainer, right? Have you seen those strainers where you want to isolate the pure thing from other mixed things? People use it for different reasons. The guy is saying on the Day of Judgment, everybody became dust. The good and the bad and everybody. How are you going to bring them back to life? He says, Allah on the Day of Judgment, He will have a strainer that will shake the earth. إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا. On that grand day of an earthquake, Allah sifting the earth. All the dust that belongs to Zayd is going to gather in one part. Amr one part, the believer here, the unbeliever here, and Allah will resurrect the bodies. Allah can do that. And if you have any doubts about His power, just ask, how did He create you from clay to begin with? He can bring back that clay to life. No problem.
It's easier.
It's easier. Because when Allah first created, there was no life. He gave life. At least now you have something, you just bring it back to life. So this is an interesting hadith that the Imam gives this analogy of this sift, right? Strainer. Okay. Now there's another objection here, that on the Day of Judgment, if Allah wants to literally resurrect this body, He has to resurrect 8 bodies if you're 70 years old. Why? Because every 7 years, your entire body changes. All cells are regenerated. So the body that committed the sin at age 20 is not the same body that commits a sin at age 40. And if Allah wants to be just, that body has to be punished at age 20. Not one body being punished for all those 70 or 80 years of sin. So that means on the Day of Judgment, God has to resurrect 7 bodies, 8 bodies, depending on your age. Do you see where they're going with this objection and why they're making it? Is it clear? See, the sin that someone committed at age 20, physically it was a different body. Because science, biology has told us, every 7 years, your entire body is regenerated. New cells have grown. Physically, this body is not the same body as 10 years ago. It's a completely new physical body. Biologically, it's a new body. Looks like it, but it's different. So Allah has to resurrect 8 bodies and punish each body according to the era in which they committed the sin. That's the argument.
How do they think of these? Like, they really
Yeah, they delve into this. See, basically, the answer to that is very simple. What's the answer to that? Sure, the body physically changed, but it's the same person who committed the sin. If you take someone to court today, before a judge, he's committed an act of murder, let's say 10 years ago. Many times people are convicted years later. So the person goes before the judge, he tells him, hey judge, sorry, that body that committed the act 7 years ago is gone. This is a new body, this is a new thing. You can't punish me. Is that going to fly in court? What is the judge going to tell him? You're the same person. Yes, some physical properties of you changed, but you're the same person who committed that act of murder. So we're going to punish you. We're not punishing yourselves, we're punishing you. So the same argument is here, is that the soul was attached to this body. It's the soul that Allah is really punishing through the body. So what if the body's changed? No problem. Yeah, some philosophers have given this possibility, but there's no hadith that supports it. They've basically said on the Day of Judgment, your body becomes 10 times the size. So your arms are 10 times bigger. Why? So that each part of the arm during your life will get punished for that era. That's one solution they presented, but there's no verse or hadith that supports that. So there is really no need to believe in that.